ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्कारूपेण मच्चित्तं पङ्कीकृतमभूद्यया किङ्करीगस्य सामाया शङ्कराचार्यमाश्रये प्रह्लादवरदो देवो यो नृसिंहः परो हरिः नृसिंहोपासकं नित्यं तं नृसिंहगुरुं भजे श्री सच्चिदानंद शिवाभिनव्य नृसिंह भारत्यभिधान यतीन्द्रान् विद्यानिधीन् मन्त्रनिधीन् सदात्मनिष्ठान् भजे मानव शम्भुरूपान् सदात्मध्यान निरतं वृषगेभ्यः पराङ्मुखम् नौमि शास्त्रेषु निष्णातं चन्द्रशेखर भारतीम् विवेकिनं महाप्रज्ञं धैर्योदार्यक्षमानिधिं सदाभिनवपूर्वन्तं विद्यातीर्थगुरुं भजे अज्ञानां जाह्नवीतीर्थं विद्यातीर्थं विवेकिनां सर्वेषां सुखदं तीर्थं भारतीतीर्थमाश्रये विद्याविनयसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विदुशेखरभारतीम् ॐ Yesterday, we looked at a few names of Adishankara Bhagavatpada from his Ashtotra Shatanamavali that dealt with his Jivan Mukta Lakshanas and conveyed the means to moksha, the various qualifications that are required, and established by means of the Taittiriya Shruti, Brahmavida apnoti param, the knower of Brahman becomes Brahman itself. It proved that by describing Acharya with all the qualities that the Shruti used to describe Brahman. And therefore, Acharya was a living embodiment of the Shruti Vakya that the knower of Brahman becomes Brahman verily. Today, we will look at various other names of Adi Shankaracharya that establish his extraordinary life and that he was none other than an avatar of Lord Shiva himself. The first name that we will look at is Sakshat Shankara Rupa Dhrite Namaha. I pay my namaskaras to Sri Shankara Bhagavatpada, who is an avatara of Lord Shiva himself. As Totakacharya says in the Totakashtakam, Bhava eva bhavaniti me nitaram, you are verily Bhava, Ishvara himself. Not only his disciples, but even his Guru himself considered him to be Lord Shiva himself. When Adi Shankaracharya approached his Guru for the first time, he must have been 8 or 9 years old when he did that, and he arrived outside the cave of his Guru. And when his Guru Govinda Bhagavatpada asked him, "Who are you?" Adi Shankaracharya replied in 10 verses, which were pregnant with Advaitic meaning, which had a great depth of meaning and an understanding of the ultimate import of the Upanishads. Those 10 shlokas became what is now known as the Dasha Shloki. And after hearing these profound verses from the mouth of a very young boy, Govinda Bhagavatpada is reported to have exclaimed in the Madhaviya Shankara Vijayam, Shankara, sa Shankara eva sakshat. He is verily Lord Shiva himself. And therefore, it is not surprising that one of the other names in the Adi Shankara Ashtotra Shatanamavali is Amanusha Charitradhyaya Namaha. I offer namaskaras to Sri Shankara Bhagavatpada, whose very life exemplifies his extraordinary divine nature. In a very short time frame of 32 years, Acharya Shankara Bhagavatpada achieved that which is beyond the scope of any mere mortal. He conferred great wisdom and knowledge merely by his sankalpa. For example, one of the names is Saraswata Pradaya Namaha. I worship Sri Shankaracharya, the bestower of Saraswatam, knowledge, wisdom, and knowledge of the arts. This name perhaps refers to how Adi Shankaracharya blessed one of his simple minded disciples, Giri, with knowledge and wisdom, because of which he later attained renown as Totakacharya. Giri was a very simple minded disciple of Acharya who did not possess the scholarship or Brahma Anubhava, the experience of Brahman, that the various other disciples of Acharya possessed. One day, when Acharya Shankara Bhagavatpada was about to commence the teaching of his bhashyas to his disciples, he was waiting for Giri to join them, who was busy working on some chores. The other disciples of Adi Shankaracharya are reported to have asked their master why he was waiting for Giri, because even if Giri was physically present there, he would not have understood the things anyway. Adi Shankara, when he heard this, he was struck with compassion for his disciple and immediately blessed him mentally to become a great jnani, a great scholar. Giri, who was washing his master's clothes by the river, immediately realized that he had been blessed by the Acharya remotely, and at the spot composed what is now known as the Totakashtakam. Viditakhila Shastra Sudha Jalade Mahitopanishad Katitarthanidhe. A set of 8 verses starting with those words, and which was composed in a very complex meter known as the Totaka meter. And when the disciples heard Giri chanting this very complex meter, they realized that he had become a jnani, he had attained great scholarship and wisdom, and therefore they immediately referred to him as Totakacharya in recognition of the Saraswatam, the knowledge, the wisdom that had been bestowed upon Giri by Acharya. One of the other names is Parakaya Pravesha Krite Namaha. I offer obeisance to Sri Shankaracharya, who knows the secret science of trans-body migration. This is referring to the story that is outlined in the Shankara Vijayam, where Adi Shankaracharya had successfully debated against Mandana Mishra, a great Purva Mimamsa scholar, and had converted him into Advaita. His wife, Ubhaya Bharati, who was the judge in that debate, then said that Adi Shankara may have defeated her husband, Mandana Mishra, but he hadn't defeated her yet. And therefore, realizing that it was not possible to defeat him by invoking great philosophical arguments, she instead challenged him on Kama Shastra, the science of love, and thinking that a sannyasi will not be able to answer those questions. Shankaracharya requested a month's time so that he understands and learns Kamashastra and then answers her questions. And in the meantime, Shankaracharya used the yogic siddhi of Parakaya Pravesha to enter the body of a king called Amaruka. And in that 1 month, he learned the science of Kamashastra and in the body of the king. And once he was returned back into the Shankaracharya's body, he was able to address and defeat Ubhaya Bharati also. And he was able to answer all of Ubhaya Bharati's questions as well in relation to Kamashastra. That is why one of his names is Parakaya Pravesha Krite Namaha. Moving on, Adi Shankaracharya traveled all across India to set up the puja paddhati of various temples. One of the places that he visited was Kanchipuram in Tamil Nadu, and the next name relates to that. Kanchyam Sri Chakrarajakhya Yantra Sthapana Dikshitaya Namaha. I offer obeisance to Sri Shankaracharya, who consecrated the famous Sri Chakra Yantra at the Kanchi Kamakshi temple. He also visited Thiruvanekkaval in Trichy, and the next name is Sri Chakratmaka Tatanka Toshitamba Manorathaya Namaha. I offer obeisance to Sri Shankaracharya, who pacified Sri Akhilandeshwari at Thiruvanekkaval in Trichy with earrings that were in the form of Sri Chakra, thereby satisfying her wish and making her happy and pacifying Akhilandeshwari, who until then was a very Ugra Murti. Another name of Acharya, which reveals his extraordinary life, is Vyasa Sandarshana Pritaya Namaha. I offer obeisance to Sri Shankaracharya, who was pleased by the divine vision of Sri Vedavyasa. This refers to the story in Acharya's life when Bhagavan Vedavyasa appeared to Shankara Bhagavatpada as an old Brahmana. This was to test Acharya on the commentary that he had written on the Brahmasutra Bhashya. And the Brahma Sutras were composed by Vedavyasa himself. The sutra in question occurs in an adhikaranam known as the Tadanantara Pratipatti Adhikaranam, which occurs in the third adhyaya of the Brahma Sutra and deals with the topic of how a jiva moves from one body to the next body and what happens at the time of death. And this debate between Vedavyasa and Bhagavan Bhashyakara, Adishankara Bhagavad-pada, stretched on for days to an end. The disciples of Adi Shankaracharya who were viewing this debate were absolutely mesmerized by the quality of arguments that were presented on both sides by Bhagavan Vedavyasa and by Adi Shankara. Sri Padmapadacharya, who was one of the chief disciples of Sri Shankaracharya at that point, realized that the old Brahmana was none other than Sri Vedavyasa because nobody else was able to withstand the skill of arguments, the quality of arguments that were presented by Adi Shankara Bhagavad-pada. He was surprised that there was somebody who could withstand it. And through his inner eye, he was able to determine that the person who was standing in front of them, dressed as an old Brahmana, was none other than Sri Vedavyasa himself. And he composed a verse describing this. Shankara Shankara Sakshat Vyaso Narayana Swayam Tayor Vivade Samprapte Kinkara Kinkaromyaham. That is, on one side we have Shankaracharya, who's none other than Shankara Sakshat, Shiva himself. And on the other side, you have Veda Vyasa, who's none other than Narayana. When these two exalted forms of Ishvara enter into a debate, what will mere servants like myself do? And therefore, he requested them to stop the debate. Now, Vedavyasa was extremely pleased with the quality of Shankaracharya's Bhashya, and he said that what he had commented on was indeed the intent of Vedavyasa himself, and he blessed him with an additional 16 years of life to teach Advaita Siddhanta all around India and the rest of the world. The next name that we will look at, Sriman Mandana Mishrakya Swayambhu Jaya Sannutaya Namaha. I offer obeisance to Sri Shankaracharya, who defeated Sri Mandana Mishra, also known as Swayambhu. This name refers to the Digvijaya that Shankaracharya undertook, in which he debated great scholars all across the country. Mandana Mishra was considered to be an avatara of Brahma, and his wife Ubhaya Bharati was considered to be an avatara of Saraswati. Hence, the Namavali says, Mandana Mishra Khya Swayambhu. He was Brahma, who was also known as Mandana Mishra. Mandana Mishra was one of the foremost exponents of the school of Purva Mimamsa, which dealt with the Vedic Karmakanda, or the ritualistic portion of the Vedas. The view of Purva Mimamsa was that Upanishads that are not focused on providing some sort of an injunction or a command to act or a prohibition, a command prohibiting a particular action. Those statements in the Veda that deal neither with a commandment or a prohibition do not have any intrinsic validity, and they exist merely as a eulogy, a praise. Technically, the term is as an arthavada. So this sub-school essentially termed all the portion of the Vedas that talked about Atma and Atma Jnana as mere eulogies. And their view was that mere knowledge of Brahman is not going to confer liberation, it needs to be combined with action. Adi Shankaracharya, whose view was opposite to this, believed that Atma Jnana and Jnana alone is necessary and sufficient for moksha, that karmas must necessarily be given up. Therefore, he was in a direct contradictory position to the school of Purva Mimamsa. He initially approached Sri Mandana Mishra's guru, Kumarala Bhatta, to debate. Kumarala Bhatta was a great scholar in Purva Mimamsa who had written the Vartikas, or the commentary in the verse form of the Shabara Bhashya to the Purva Mimamsa Sutras by Jaimini. When Shankaracharya approached him, Kumarala Bhatta was at the end of his life, and he suggested that he instead debate with his disciple Mandana Mishra. So Adi Shankaracharya traveled to Mandana Mishra's hometown to seek a debate with him. There's an interesting shloka which demonstrates the high degree of knowledge that Mandana Mishra possessed. Adi Shankaracharya was traveling and asked a lady who was fetching water in Mandana Mishra's town about his whereabouts and where he lived. And the lady replied, Swataf pramanam parataf pramanam kirangana yatra giram giranti dwarastha nidantara sanniruddha janihi tan mandana panditaukaha. She said, O scholar, when you are walking down this road and see a house in which the parrots that are kept in cages outside the house debating whether Vedas are Swataf Pramanam or Parataf Pramanam, whether they have validity that is intrinsic to themselves or whether they depend on something else for their validity, know that such a house is Mandana Mishra's house. Essentially, what this indicates is the high level of knowledge, scholarship, and the extent of debates that Mandana Mishra used to have in his house, that the parrots that he kept as pets could pick up on that and merely repeat it. Anyway, Adi Shankaracharya reached Mandana Mishra's house and entered into a very large debate with him, which lasted several days. At the end of those several days, he successfully managed to convince Mandana Mishra that the Advaita Vedanta position was the correct one and that Purva Mimamsa's position was incorrect. One of the terms of the debate was that whoever lost would essentially take up the lifestyle of the other. So if Adi Shankara had lost, he had agreed to take up the life of a grihastha, and if Mandana Mishra had lost, he agreed that he would take up the life of a sannyasi. Mandana Mishra lost, and he took up the life of a sannyasi. With that, we will temporarily stop today's session and we will continue tomorrow. And with tomorrow's session, we will bring this series of talks on the Adi Shankara Ashtotra Shatanamavali to a close. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti